Unfiltered with Dave Letele, and today I sat down and had, one of the funniest conversations I've ever had with Shane Cameron. And you must watch this for the Mike Tyson stories alone.
We were sparring heavy. And I said, hey, Mike, what's the low shots? He goes, sorry, Shane.
It was epic. I've seen Shane do a lot of podcasts, but I've never heard him speak this way.
I struggled to get out of bed for 6 months after the Danny Green fight.
So we talked about everything from wanting to be a shepherd to getting into boxing to dancing with the stars to the loss to David Tua and how he rebuilt from that.
You know, this is my best tool in my head.
It is an amazing, inspiring conversation. Boy, we're going to have some epic clips from this interview. Size doesn't matter.
So it went along the chair and hung down the chair.
Fuck, are you serious?
Yeah, mate.
You have to watch it to understand what I'm thinking. This is the next level conversation. Make sure to please share this out far and wide. Unfiltered, Shane Cameron. Enjoy. Before we get started, Unfiltered with David Tua is proudly part of the Acast network and produced by the amazing team at Fanaticals. This episode is brought to you by my good friends, Trust Motors. Now, they're an amazing company that support everything we do in the community. I've known them for a long time, so if you're looking for a new car, trading in your car, whatever the case may be sure to support those who support the community. Trust Motors, how car buying should be. Man, we have been blown away by the success so far of Unfiltered with David Letele. The response, the comments, the stories that are being told are absolutely amazing, and we feel really privileged to be able to bring you these conversations. They are so important. So if you think they're important just like us, we need your support via Patreon. So only if you're able to pay for this, please. If you can't, I don't want you to pay for it. Every single dollar helps. Every single dollar will go towards making these stories blow up like they should be. You know, mainstream media aren't telling these stories yet. These are the stories to me that need to be told and held up on a pedestal to inspire the world. So that's why we're bringing Patreon. That's why we're implementing this tool as a way that we can continue to tell these stories to the best of our ability. And we feel very privileged to be able to do this. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. And let's go. Shane Cameron, brother, how's it going?
I'm good, man. Good to be here.
Yeah, man. It's been, we've been trying to organise it for a while, but it's hard when both of us are so busy. But man, I'm really excited to have you here, brother.
That's good, and you acted on it pretty fast like you normally do. Like message yesterday, and I think, oh, that's right with that podcast. I think, fuck, I'd love to do it with you. Text you straight away, boom, someone's going to contact you, boom. Next day, 11 o'clock, we're here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm lucky I got a good team. I'm very, very, very unorganised, but I have a very good team. So just say, no, please reach out to Shane. Let's make this happen. So it's awesome, man. Here we are. How you been?
Good, thanks, man. Been busy, man. Been busy. Just keep things going. You know, I'm ADHD, so I can't really sit still. I want to try this and try that and try this and try that. And yeah, so the energy's there, man. You know, so but still excited about all the things that I've got going on.
Yeah, and you're right into high rocks now. You're looking in epic shape.
Yeah, thanks, bro.
Can the camera, I think the camera is to the editor, just mainly be on Shane. Don't have it on. All right? Okay, just for comparison. All right, boys, just maybe a quick shot to these. But no, it's cool, man. And I think we've known each other for a while and we've done different things together. Yeah. But we've never had opportunity to sit down.
Never actually sat down, yeah.
I remember, bro, like when I fought down at Invercargill, you remember that?
Yeah.
I sort of remember it because I got knocked out down there. But what did you think of the whole Butterbean act back then? Or, and be honest, were you a fan? What were your thoughts on it all, on this character I was playing?
Initially, because, like how you come out, like not many, Kiwis that do that sort of thing. You showboating and then you warmed on me, I think, because I understand getting through the ropes and competing at that level, and talking it up, win or lose, man, like in my eyes, there's a lot of respect there because people can criticize and it's easy to criticize, but hey, man, you get through the ropes, you take those punches, you do the hard work, you do the training. Yeah. There's a lot of commitment that's involved with the sport of boxing. Like the sport of boxing has changed my life massively over the years, and I'm sure it's given you a lot of appreciation and confidence. One thing boxing has given me is a lot of confidence from fucking giving everything a go.
Yeah.
You know, from doing Dancing with the Stars and all that sort of stuff. I'm not intimidated by anything because, you know, people would say to me on certain things I do, "Oh, weren't you nervous about that?" I said, "Nah, well, I was a little bit, but there's nothing like stepping through the ropes and someone's looking at you, eyeballing you, they want to knock your fucking head off, you know?
Yeah.
And then you got to act and you got to perform and then you got to make sure you're fit, you got to make sure you're ready, make sure you're confident in beating that individual, you know? So...
Yeah, bro, because there's nothing more scarier than looking at your opponent and you're tired and they look fresh.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, man. You know? And so you ought to always make sure. And what was your coach's name?
Henry Schuster.
Henry Schuster. And the other, you had another coach or manager. What was, I forgot his name.
I'm a manager, Kenny Rainsfield.
Kenny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him because a lot of that, like, he's an old school boxing guy, and a lot of these boxing purists. And it was really interesting back then that a lot of the boxing purists really didn't like me. But like as you said, I think when they started seeing the work and that I was putting in, that I was actually taking the sport seriously, that it warmed on them.
Yeah, and... Yeah, it just shows your courage too, man. You know, if I put it back on you, like shit, because, you know, I remember seeing something about you knew what you were doing, you know, so you had to put on an act. You know, you're a performer. You're an entertainer. You know, I remember one thing with Kenny said to me, you know, I remember talking to him about money one time. He goes, fucking don't worry about the money, Shane. He goes, you're in the entertainment business. Yeah. You have to entertain. Yeah. Okay, so if you entertain, people are going to turn up. When people turn up, your paycheck's going to be bigger. Yeah. So don't you worry about that. You worry about fucking entertaining. Yeah. You worry about knocking people out. And in your way, you entertained. You know, so people wanted to see you lose, or people wanted to see you win. Yeah, you know what I mean? 100%. Because you did what you did, and you did it like fucking no one else can do it like that, man.
I think it was really interesting back then because. Not like you said, not many people, especially Kiwis and Pollies, were like this real arrogant, like, and that's how it was. Like Dave Higgins, we were in Germany before Joe Parker fought, and they wanted to see what I weighed. This is how the Butterbean was born. Yeah, they wanted to see what I weighed. The head of German boxing, they put me on a scale, and I was 178 kilos. Ooh. And everyone there in Germany, they'd never seen this. They were like, oh, what the fuck? This guy's so fat. But I was so happy because I just realized I'd lost 30 kilos. Because every other scale back home always said error. Like no scale could weigh me. Right. So I was like, yes, I'm the man. I'll beat anyone here. I'm the toughest man in the world. Come at me. And everyone was laughing, all these boxing. And that's when Higgins had the idea. I've got it.
He's seen it. See, hey.
That's what you're going to do for us. You're going to be the next Duco Circus act. We're going to roll you out before Joe fights. And you're going to play that character.
And you played it.
Yeah.
And you played it. And that took that, you know, that takes some nuts to play that out, you know?
It's funny because I didn't realize how polarizing it would be. Yeah. You know, like calling out all of South Auckland. And I ended up fighting Manu's brother, who was a
That's right, yeah.
Bro, Monty Beeford messaged Dave.
Yeah.
I said, do not let your friend fight this guy. He's going to get killed. And he had a fearsome. And it's funny at the press conferences, you know, I'm doing like what these American guys do in the movies. I told him, you know, if I rip this guy's head off, I'll do the world a favor. And I'm this fat guy saying this stuff. Yeah. And I said to Dave, I said, bro, have you told this camp that I'm actually just joking? Like, and he goes, no, we can't let them know that. It's got to be organic.
It's got to be, yeah.
And, it was crazy. That's what come of it, you know. But I understood from there, bro, the like you say, the entertainment, but the media, and that if I want to keep making these fights, I've got to do more and more outlandish things. You know, I've got to throw chairs at weigh-ins. I've got to do all these stupid things so that I keep making the news, because Joe Parker's the main event. You know, if I want to make the news, I've got to do stupid stuff. And it pissed people off. Even Kevin Barry pissed him. He hated it. Kevin Barry hated it. He always complained to Dean Lonergan and to Dave, why is he on here? Why is he doing this? Tell him to not do it. I remember Female Marker. We were coming out right before the weigh-in, the press conference, and I said to Fino, bro, you want to make the news? And he's a real humble guy. He's like, oh, so you just started a new company, bro. Like, if you want to make the news with that hat on, you know, to showcase your company, we've got to do something. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to push you. You're going to push me back. Then I'm going to tackle you. And if they don't come and stop us, you've got to punch me. You've got to make them believe. And bro, and he goes, oh, but what if they don't? I said, well, punch me. And it was just lucky Kevin Barry come up and took us off. And I'm on top of Fino going, hit me. But hey, it was on the news. It made front page.
People
you know,
knew who you were after that, man. Hey, you know.
But, it's funny. But anyway, it's not about me, bro. It's cool to have you here. But I really just I've been a big fan of yours, and it's
thanks, bro.
I often pinch myself when I'm in situations where we're working together, and when we first met, and always looked up to you. So it's cool to have you here, and also just for the people watching, just want to give them more of an insight of you. So where'd you grow up, bro?
I grew up in a little place, Tiniroto, which is a country village, hour inland from Gisborne. Yeah, from a young boy growing up, all I wanted to do was be a shepherd,
Really?
Yeah, and to ride a horse to work every day.
Is that where the nickname came from?
Mountain, yeah. I started as a mountain man.
Yeah.
The mountain man, and then I was involved with the Warriors, and they said, can you take off the man and add warrior? I voted for Warriors, yeah. So, come from a country village. Consists of a pub and a school. The main amenities, so the pub's closed down now, and the school is going. I think there's 4 kids in the whole school.
Wow.
So it's just a primary intermediate school. So yeah, man, that was me, and I was a shepherd till I was 19, and then I went to England for my OE, and that's how I fell into boxing.
Wow.
Yeah, yes, it's a long old journey.
Yeah. What were your mum and dad up to when you were growing up?
Oh, Dad's a panel beater, spray painter by trade, but loved the farming.
Yeah.
So he worked on local farms. Yeah, as a young shepherd.
Yeah.
We never had a farm, but we worked on other farms, and so I grew up riding horses, man. I grew up riding horses, hunting. I've been in Auckland now for 23 years, so it's longer than I've ever been anywhere. So I think I class myself as a bit of a Jaffa now.
Man, a long way from those roots, eh?
Long way, man. Yeah, but I still go back home a lot hunting. My brothers love their hunting, so it's always good to go back. And I do a few posts on my food, and from the bush.
I love your post, bro.
From the bush to the plate, and basically, literally, I've shot it, or if I haven't shot it, my brother's shot it, and both my brothers are butchers, so I skin them. I'm pretty good at skinning, and they're fucking sharp at boning them out, and then I just bring them back all vac packed in the freezer, and away we go.
I love your watching your stuff on Insta, and you put the meat on and go, oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, look at that.
I know.
Always makes me hungry.
You get all excited, man, about a bit of meat, you know.
And what was it like growing up in a little town like that, bro?
Yeah, it was. Well, we didn't know anything else. You know what I mean. So there was no activities. We played a little bit of rugby in town, but to get to town, you had to drive to Gisborne, which was a 50-minute drive. And we didn't come from too much money, so sometimes there was no gas money to get us to town. You know, so there was no rugby this Saturday.
Yeah.
Or the car was broken down, or so it was never really pushed. But I didn't really care too much about the rugby. It was more about farming. I wanted to be a shepherd, and that was all I dreamt about from a young kid. I never thought about doing anything else.
Yeah.
But growing up, man, like go hunting, on the weekends. I had 3. I remember I had 3 sheepdogs, but I didn't have the money to feed them.
Yeah.
So then, like down there, like it's in the wop-wops, and you can drive down the road and like see 4 or 5 or 10 or 15, 20, 30 goats that are wild.
Yeah.
And I'd just run them down. Yeah. I'd run them down, and because I knew how to. One of my birthday presents when I was like 10 years old was a knife in a pouch. And by that time, I already knew how to kill sheep and kill goats and skin them and gut them and do the whole thing, So, and I drove mum and dad's car, which was not registered and not warranted at that time. Rusty airs, Toyota Corolla, maroon-looking thing. So I went driving down the road, and I was looking for some goats to feed the dogs, and I actually had a 22. I shouldn't think about it. 22. I didn't have a license, but anyway, that's what you do back in the day. So I had a 22 rifle, but it wasn't a very good 22 rifle. Like you put the bolt up, thing like that, and then you pull it up, nothing comes out of it, and then all of a sudden you pull up, it just went off by itself. Yeah. So anyway, I threw that to the ground. And I just run them down.
Yeah.
I run them down. They got caught in the blackberry. Yeah. And then I just grab them. I knew how to take care of business. And then,
you're like Bear Grylls. Is that his name? You're like the original Bear Grylls.
Yeah, man. That was a long time ago. Back in the early 90s, late 80s. So it was good times, But you just got to do what you got to do to survive, eh?
Living
man.
off the land.
Yeah, you're living off the land, you know, or for the dogs, you know,
Yeah.
mum and dad, we always had food on the table, which was meat and spuds,
Yeah.
you know, meat, spuds and veggies. There was no lollies, there was no McDonald's, there was none of those things, you know, you had to go to town. I remember mum, we used to go to town and she'd bring the shopping back because you go shopping once a week.
Yep.
And then bring the shopping back and she'd only bring one packet of macaroons. Macaroons. Fucking, but they never made the cupboard. You know, plough them all back. Yeah, and then that was all out. All those, that's it. All the tweets are gone for the week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember one time, you know, I suppose I've got many stories, but I'll just throw this one out. I remember one time we had a power cut. We had lots of snow, with deep snow outside. It was like 4 foot deep. We had no power for 10 days, and I remember I go, Mum, what's for dinner? She goes, you better light that fire. So we lit the fire, and we had lamb's tails for dinner. Literally lamb's tails, you know, you cut them off and then, so you just chuck them on with a tray. You throw that on the fire. This is inside the house. You have an open fire inside the house and it's fucking flaming away there and you throw that and then throw the lamb's tails on the top and that was our dinner for the night.
Man. No, bro, what would be a good idea is we need to take a lot of the youth programs we do, we should.
Yeah.
That should be a good idea.
Yeah.
Take them out.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Do you miss those days, bro? Like, I think about even just where we started in BBM to where I am now. Yeah. And I often miss the old days.
You miss it, yeah.
You know, do you miss those days?
Yeah, I do. It's probably just reminiscing. Reminiscing and go, Father, those were the days.
Yeah. Simpler.
Those, man. You know, like I remember even those were the days. And you know what? When I went on Celebrity Treasure Island, there was like those were the days because not about the cameras and action. We had no phones. We had no contact with the outside world. So we're sitting on the island in Fiji, and it was something that you do. You talk to people.
Yeah.
You don't text everyone and emailing everyone. You're there, man. And like, so you got to know pretty well. Got to know everyone pretty well just by talking, asking questions. Like we're there for 3 weeks.
I always think, it's just that they're not actually really stranded. Yeah. They still have, they got a trailer somewhere, but it's legit.
It's legit, man. It's legit. Like, there's no extra food. Like, I thought they might give us some extra food. No way. So they gave us rice and then water to cook the rice. And that was it. And then, apart from the food that you had to win each day, there was 3 challenges each day. And one of them was a food challenge. And we lost the first 6-day challenges for the food.
Wow.
So we ate rice for 6 days. Shit. Yeah. No, they didn't give us anything. The most they gave us was a banana.
Who did you get on with the most there?
Probably everyone in our crew. But Gary Freeman. Probably Gary Freeman that I've kept in contact. Yeah. You know. Leaguey boy. You know. Fucking absolute legend. Yeah. Dally M. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and a good dude.
Yeah.
Just a good dude.
Yeah, another legend. I remember watching him growing up. Yeah, I've never met him. He's a cool guy.
No, he's
Balmain.
Yeah, man.
What about Dancing with the Stars?
Yeah, that was tough. That was tough, man. Yeah. That was probably the toughest thing of. Oh, you did it? Yeah, of course.
Yeah, 3rd place.
Fuck. Yeah, I fucking just beat me. I was 4th. I got 4th place.
4th place.
Shit.
But that was people don't understand how hard that is.
How hard
That's a fucking hard show, bro.
Yeah, man.
The trainer, and especially when you got injury. Like, man, I got 9 knee-ops, but I was popping so many painkillers each week. You'd make each week. Oh, fuck, I don't know how I'm going to get through this.
Yeah. And then they give you, you know what I'm talking about then. So if you're dancing a cha-cha, and then come Wednesday, then they go, right, you got to dance a rumba because you got to plan your next dance because you're expecting, or hopefully you're going to get through.
Yeah.
Because if you get through, then and if you don't work on that dance for the next week, then you're in shit street. Hey.
Yeah, it was hard, man. Like the first dance you get, you know it from when you sign up.
Yeah.
So you got
all
this
about
time.
3 weeks or what, 2 weeks. Yeah.
And then you make the next one. It's so funny because you're so invested in it. I watch back and it's like, fuck, it's like nothing else matters. It's funny because we got a couple of work phones that our team have.
Yeah.
So After every dance, I ring them up, max it out. Max out the votes.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think you're allowed to vote like 100 times. We had a couple of work phones that, that I'm paying for. It's like, I don't know, I have $3 a text. I'm max it out, max it out. But you get so invested in it, eh?
Yeah, man.
Because we had Lance as one of our, Lance Savili, who's he's one of the judges.
Yeah.
Samoan fella. And bro, I was always last.
Yeah.
So I went up to him after the first.
Going on last.
Yeah, I was always last.
Oh, right.
Last place in the votes. So I went up to him after the first show. I said, bro, what the fuck's going on here? And he goes, bro. I sort of, but it's a show business, eh?
Man,
it was interesting for me, bro. I've never really said this publicly, but I found that I sort of knew why I was there after the first photo shoot.
Right.
Turn up there. And I'm already have imposter syndrome. I don't believe I'm a celebrity. So, oh man, these guys are celebrities. I don't belong here, but I want to do it because it's good for our work to showcase what we're doing,
Yes.
to a mainstream audience. So I turn up there, getting dressed, and I notice that all of my outfits are Pacifica or Maori, attire.
Yeah.
And I said, are anyone else wearing their nation's, their cultural outfits, or just me? And I realized there and then, I said, bro, I'm the token brown guy here. I know exactly why I'm here. I know the way funding works.
Yeah,
I'm
true.
the fucking tick.
Yeah.
Have you
Tick
got Maori and Pacifica representation? Tick.
Yeah. They should have given you more money.
Yeah, no, I should have. It was funny, bro, because I said to them, because they were trying to get me to, they had mood boards now. You want me to be hip hop and all that. I said, man, I'm nearly 40 years old. I'm not going to be hip hop. I'll be myself. And I said, I'm not here. I said to Clint, I said, bro, I'm not here to talk about dancing.
Yeah.
I said, I'm only here for the video you play of my work beforehand, before I dance, and the interview after.
Yeah.
So please only ask me questions about my work. And he was good. And then I said, I'm here I'll give my dancing my all and try my hardest out of respect for my partner. But understand why I'm here.
Yeah.
And they were cool, bro.
That
they really just made sure that was it. Every show I made, I kept showing different parts of BBM.
Great. That's good.
So it was good for the mainstream audience to see. But
how did you feel going out for most dancers?
The dance was the fun part.
Yeah.
The live TV dance was the fun part.
Yeah.
But then you're like, and again, bro, it sounds like, hey, like when you're talking about it now, it's like, how can you be so invested in it?
Yeah.
You're there and you're getting judged, and every week, bro, I was last.
Yeah.
But we were lucky we had good public votes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if were you like calculating votes at, when you had made it at your next training, did you have a whiteboard up and writing the votes down?
Nah.
Yeah, we worked it out. Like,
right.
if you're last in the votes, that's 1 point. But if you're up in the votes from the public, you get 4 points or whatever, how many of you are left.
Right.
So we realized how much our public vote was. That's the only reason that was keeping us up.
Right.
They wanted to get rid of me. I know they did. They used to have they'd bring in the media.
Yeah.
They'd interview everyone but me. And that made me feel like this. And I said, all right. I said, well, fuck you guys. I'll go do my own media.
Yeah.
So
you were good at that, man.
So we had to start doing all the radio ourselves. And then the show would actually ring up the station. Oh, we want to get so-and-so on. I said, no, we've already got Dave on. You just have to do things yourself. So it was cool to make, to get third. The first and second, man. They were a lot better dancers than me, so.
Yeah, and it's a massive experience, eh? It's a massive experience.
Would you do it again?
Nah, I just struggle with holding information, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the old boxing, just boxed in the head a few too many years, but I just struggle with that short-term memory,
Yeah.
But I always put the work in. How many did you have set hours that you put in each week for your dances?
We were training like 6 hours a day.
Yeah.
And again, we were lucky that I got a team and I could step away because that was me. For me, that was work because it was highlighting our work.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean there's hungry children?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All these mainstream audiences that wouldn't understand that there's people with nothing. There's children, that are sleeping under laundry because they got no blankets. No food, all these things. So that was to me, that's why I took it so serious to keep getting that message out there. And it worked. It worked.
Yeah. Well, man, especially, we opening yourself up, and that's one thing. Same for me. I didn't want to let myself down. Ultimately, I didn't want to drop my dance partner or do anything like that or look like a clown. So same with you. I'll put the work in, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do. It feels like probably close to 40 hours a week.
It was hectic.
Because then you got Saturday at the studio rehearsal. Then you got rehearsals. The Sunday before we go live, and it's literally live, it's literally go to the action, boom, away you go. I think, and you going out to dance, the boxing would have given you confidence.
It's
with
really
that,
similar to that.
Exactly. You're going out to entertain, But as long as you do the work, like you said, you're doing 6 hours a day, and I was doing around that same time, or probably a bit more. But it took it seriously,
Yeah. When, Bo, talking about the boxing, when did you get into boxing, and when did you think that I can make something of this?
Yeah, so I was on my OE in England, 19, and then I was like watching some boxing on TV. I talk about turning points in your life.
Yes.
How did you end up where we are? There's a few turning points. So that turning point for them, my grandfather used to box out of Wellington in the late 1920s, so over 100 years ago. He had this shows you how big boxing was in New Zealand. He had 130 amateur fights and never left the Wellington region. Never left the Wellington region. Fought up around that. I don't even think he fought as far as Taupo up there. Didn't fight in the South Island as far as I know. Anyway, so I was inspired by listening to his boxing stories, me growing up. I thought, man, I used to think, oh, fuck, I'll be pretty tough, man. And I'm in England, 19 on my OE, watching some boxing on TV. I think, fuck, I need to give that sport a go.
Yeah.
And my grandfather was still alive, so I laced up the gloves and had my very first fight the week of my 20th birthday. And I went from drinking 5-6 nights a week, fighting on the weekends, didn't even know how to fight, but it was all around alcohol, man, The more you drink, the tougher you get, and then all of a sudden there's a scrap and it's all over in fucking seconds and, the ripped shirt and all that. But once I started boxing, never had a fight outside the ring ever since 1998. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's respecting the sport, and it's just changed my world anyway. I definitely didn't go back to riding a horse to work and farming, shepherding, but so many great benefits to the sport of boxing,
Yeah, it's interesting, like that it gives you that discipline that you don't do that in the street. I was the same. Like, I used to go out when I started boxing, and people, because they hated me, they'd throw drinks at me or slap my face. And I didn't react. David Higgins, who grew up with me and seen what I used to get up to, go, this is, you have changed.
You have changed,
because it's like like yourself, just always fighting.
It's you got that point where you don't have to prove yourself. And once I started the boxing, I'm thinking, fuck, I can actually hurt some people. Then I've got nothing to prove. See, before that, I'll be fighting on the street, drunk and whatever, to try and prove something. And then when I start boxing, I'm thinking, I know how to fight. So I've got nothing to prove. Like I've had people wanting to fight. Like earlier on days in England, I go, fucking go outside, man. Go make a start. I'll come out later. And I wouldn't go out. Because you got nothing to prove. You know what I mean? So that's probably the big turning point there, You think about these guys that want to fight and all that sort of stuff, and like maybe they've always got something to prove. Hey, go to the club, man, and you can see what you like. Go to an actual boxing club.
It's what you realize real quick is that it's so much different to street fighting. It's so much different. And you have a new respect and discipline for it. When did you realize, what was the turning point where you realized I can make some good money for my family on this?
I remember when I was traveling, I was in England. I started boxing in England, and I remember driving down, and we were heading from, it was after work. They go, Shane, there's a fight down there. It was like an hour's drive. We're heading down south of England. And then the coach and another assistant coach was in the front, and they just said, how far you reckon Shane will go? I could hear him in the back. And they go, I don't think he'll go that far because he's a bit old, which I was 20, and in my head I was thinking, I'll show you, I'll show you what I can do, and I didn't really know how far I could go, Within a year and a half, I won a national title in England, so I was number one, and then so it all happens really fast, and then I come back and qualify for the Commonwealth Games team, and so within 4 years I was number one in England, and then won a bronze medal for New Zealand at the Commonwealth Games. And then I turned pro, and then I started sparring in the States. Even though I fought David Tua, we lived with each other. We all lived in the same house with David in Las Vegas, Nevada. So I was sparring a few of those top heavyweights over there, and I was matching with them. I'm thinking, oh, man, fucking, and there was sort of a click. I'm thinking, oh, maybe I could go somewhere in the sport, Yeah.
So,
and I've always been a hard worker. My mindset, man, no one can beat me. Clearly I've been beaten, but in my mind, this is my best tool in my head. I'm not intimidated by anyone. I can beat anyone. As long as I do everything right, all the training, everything right, and then on the day we'll just see what happens. But I've never walked to the ring thinking I'm going to lose the fight. Never been intimidated by anyone. Just by experiences that I've had. I survived sparring with Mike Tyson for 3 weeks in Phoenix, Arizona.
What was he like?
Oh man, it was that was a crazy experience, man. That was Mike Tyson. As I say, confidence is built. You got to earn it though, But I remember when Mike, because I'm in Mike's gym where he was training at Phoenix, Arizona. It was hot. And then I'm sitting and putting my boots on. I'm in my head. I'm thinking, fuck, Mike Tyson's going to come in here soon. Iron Mike Tyson. I'm going to spar him. I'm nervous and sitting, putting on my boots. And then he walks in. He's like, get the fuck out of my gym, motherfuckers. Get the fuck out of my gym. And I'm thinking, fucking hell, I'm here to spar you. But wherever he went, man, they said, oh, he's got no money and da-da-da. But fucking wherever he went, man, the paparazzi followed him everywhere. When he turned up, there was 5 Hummers that just turned up, massive Lambos and fucking all these. I'm thinking, oh shit, looks to me like there's a bit of money there. But he was telling the media to get out of the ring, get out the gym. So they cameras, action ball, they're all out there, and then they closed down the shutters. He went straight to the changing room, and his coach Jeff Fennick walked out, and he goes, "Oh, Shane, Mike's in a bad mood today. You're sparring him first." Yeah, I think, I'm here anyway. So and you know what I mean with boxing in the States anyway. Here they're a bit nicer, but in the States they don't even acknowledge you. So Mike comes out and just walk past. It's not like you go up, hey, Mike, Shane Cameron. Fuck, they don't give a shit about you. You're there to do a thing. You're there to spar. You know what I mean? Yep. So then I suppose you got to earn your right and earn your respect. So then I get in the ring and I'm walking, and Mike's walking across. He just walks the corner and he's rolling in his neck and I'm thinking, fuck, this is going to happen, man. But I'm ready. I was young. I was 11-0 with 10 knockouts. And I was ready to go, ding, ding, ding. And then went to go. Danny Codling was training me at the time. And I turned around with Danny and he put my mouth guard in. And I turned around and Mike had run across the ring. Shit. He's probably thinking, who the fuck's this white gay man? I'm going to fucking bash him, come all the way from New Zealand, And then he starts offloading his shots. And, and I remember being there a split second thinking, I can take this fucking hiding or I can just start throwing some leather back. And I started throwing some leather back and we started going back into the middle of the ring. And I survived that day and I survived 3 weeks. But, mate, great experience, eh? Yeah. Mike, he's got that high-pitched voice, eh?
Yeah.
I've said it many times, but I say it again, we were sparring heavy, and he hit me in I caught his hook, and then he hit me in the body, but it missed the body and hit me in the nuts.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, Mike, what's those shots? He goes, sorry, Shane.
So he warmed to you and you ended up getting along with him?
Yeah, man, it was good. Yeah, he goes, man, you're crazy, motherfucker, Shane. I didn't realize they breed crazy white guys like you down in New Zealand. You're crazy, motherfucker, Shane. But we asked him about the tattoo because he'd just not long got that tattoo on his face. And we said, oh, what's that tattoo, Mike? And he goes, it's like a married design, from the Warriors, in New Zealand. And then he started getting a little bit flustered. He goes, fuck, I don't know, man. I just seen it in a magazine and I got it because I liked it. Yeah, it's my prerogative. Yeah, and I was like, fuck, what does prerogative mean? Yeah. Yeah.
So what's the other story you had about Tyson?
Oh, yeah, the Tyson story. I didn't tell you that one. So I'd got some, it was my last day. So I wanted, hey, you're sparring with Iron Mike Tyson. You need to get some gloves signed.
Yeah.
So we went to the sports store and we come back and I've fucking half a dozen pair of gloves. Hey, Mike, can you? I said to Jeff Fennick, hey, can I get Mike to sign these? He goes, yeah, he's in the showers. So go in the change room. He's walking around with a towel. So I said, oh, can you sign these gloves for me, please? He goes, yeah, no worries, man. And he sits down in this chair, He sits down and then he's signing them and he's looking up at me, telling me I'm a crazy motherfucker and use your peripheral vision. And I'm like, what the fuck is that hanging down the chair? And then I'm talking to him and I look down and I'm going, holy shit. And then So it went along the chair and hung down the chair.
Fuck, are you serious?
Yeah, mate. And I'm thinking, fucking, he's telling me I'm crazy.
Yeah, that's too big. Can any woman
I would
watching
hate
this?
it. Absolutely hate it.
Any woman watching this, can you please comment below? Is there such a thing? I mean, that's too big, surely. There was a guy.
It was a small chair. It was a small chair.
Hanging down the chair and over. I played
Fucking
with a guy.
along and hanging down. And it was just like, fucking, it was just like, what
And
the
think,
fuck?
like, that's going to get bigger. That's it when it's limp.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to
It can't be a
continue
grower.
this
It can't be a
because
grower.
otherwise you're going to say I played with a guy. No, I played rugby league with a guy in France, and his nickname was Horse.
Oh, fucking.
And you always shower with your undies on with him around. It's funny because this guy, like, you know, we shower with the undies on, with, like, you know, this guy, he's fucking standing there like this. Like,
He knows it
he
too,
knows
eh?
it. It's fucking
He knows
hanging
it,
out,
yeah,
and he's
yeah.
just looking around like the king of the jungle, you know, watching. Everyone else has their undies on around the guy.
Hey, that's the confidence in the man,
That's
eh? The confidence in the man, eh?
He fucking knew it.
He
was like,
knew that shit, man.
Big smile,
He
big
knows
smile.
that shit. He can use his peripheral vision, walk into a shower and go, fucking no one's as good as me.
Yeah,
eh?
yeah. No, well, we all had our undies on. we were not taking them off in front of that guy. So yeah, or anyone watching this, let us know. Is there such a thing as too big?
Yeah, so great experience, man. And like I said, like after sparring and surviving 3 weeks for the baddest man on the planet,
Yeah.
you know, you're gonna walk away with some confidence, eh?
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, that confidence, I just carried that on with my career.
Yeah.
You know, and just experiences like that, and that's just carried on through life, eh, man? You know.
What do you think your biggest highlight was from your boxing days?
Oh, definitely beating Monty Barrett, man.
I was there that fight.
Yeah,
No,
definitely.
yeah, because I mean, you were an underdog on that one, eh?
Yeah, mate.
I remember that was amazing.
Big
At Sky
underdog.
City.
Yeah, big underdog. Joseph Parker had his pro debut that
Yes.
night. Yeah, and you know how I fell with David, man. It was just like it was a hard pill to swallow. Yeah, fucking David just took care of business. And then Kenny was there when Barrett fought Tua, and it was a hard night for David. And he rung me and he goes, "Shane, you want this fight against Barrett?" I said, "Fuck, make it happen, man. Make it happen."
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying I'm fucking, you know, just, and in the sport of boxing, it's on the night too.
Yeah.
You know, it's on the night, and I had a
Shooting
good
heavyweights,
camp.
man.
I was sparring with David Hay for 3 weeks in London, so I had a fucking good camp, man, and fucking David, he fucking gave me hiding every day, eh?
Yeah.
You know, so by the time I come back, I was ready fucking for whatever Barrett brought.
Yeah. That was good, man.
Yeah, man. Probably, the most satisfying.
Yeah.
You know, when I jumped on the ropes, I was just like, you know.
Yeah.
I actually said, "Fuck you," you know, because and it's understandable.
They were a cocky camp too. That Higgins was saying they were really a cocky camp,
right?
you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
That his crew, you
His
know?
crew, yeah. Well, he was talking.
Yeah.
You know, he was talking that, you know, because you know David took care of me, and then he took care of David. So he's probably thinking, "Fucking, I'm gonna wipe this," you know. Remember all the promotion, you know. And I've shot my mouth off before, you know, with David, which I've never done before, and I never done after.
That was out of your character, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk us through that? The whole tour.
Yeah. See, that was promoted as sort of strictly business, and I remember one of them saying, I remember David, one of them saying, "Talk it up, Shane. Talk the fight up. You know, talk it up." And I wish I fucking had said, "I'll talk it up if you pay me more money."
Yeah.
And I talked it up, you know, and all I did was fucking piss David off.
Yeah.
You know, and just like got him fucking off the
Motivated
couch.
him.
You motivated him, man, you know? And, you know, just, you know, and the whole, it didn't work out for me, man. Just full stop, you know. And David, fucking the beast that he is, you know, and I remember sparring him. I sparred him in Las Vegas when I first turned pro. So I'd had one pro fight and I was sparring him, and he could fucking bang. I remember even that, like he was catching me some fucking hooks, man. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
You know? But fast forward however many years later, and then I'm thinking, yeah, man. But in my head, like I said before, man, there's I went to that fight thinking I'm gonna win. You know, people may think I'm crazy or whatever it is, but I am crazy. You know, because you got to be crazy. You have to be.
Yeah.
You have to be. You know, I wouldn't have taken the fight if I was scared of him.
Yeah.
You know, so and it's just what can happen.
So if you had the opportunity again, if they ask you that question, would you talk it up like the way you did then?
Fucking no way. No way. I said to David, because before he went to Samoa.
You guys are friends, become good friends as well, which is awesome.
I said, man, we should have a rematch, Dave. It would make heaps of money, you know? And he's just going, oh, and he's probably thinking, fuck that, I'm not giving you an opportunity. Yeah. But no, man, solid. Yeah, like he is a beast, old Dave, man.
Who hits harder? It's a big debate.
Tua.
Tyson or Tua?
Tua, bro. Easy. That's easy. Like, yeah, Tyson hits hard, but fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fast. Like, because the speed that's like damaging. He's much faster than Tua, you know, because he just throws like with 4 or 5 or 6 shots, you know, and before you know it, the punch that you don't see and the speed it is, and if you got some weight behind it, that's lethal. You know, like, but no, definitely,
Tua's that scary, like when you
and he's got a chin, you know, he's got a chin, you know, like Tyson's been dropped quite a few times, you know, but Tua fucking hasn't. He's just got he's just rock solid. So if you don't, I wanted to take the body, I want to take him out in the body.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, I'm not going to get him with head shots, body shots, you know, and I invited, like, it was 7 years later, and I text Dave, I said, man, we should catch up and have a beer at home.
Yeah.
And he come round.
Yeah.
And we got on the tequilas and that in my garage when I was living in Mount Albert. And he said, Shane, you know what I'm worried about with you, man, when I was fighting you? He goes, I was worrying about your body shots, man. Your body shots are so fucking good. And I'm going, well, you didn't even give me a chance to throw them. Yeah.
I think he'd be one, definitely. I mean, it's crazy how he... You know, he didn't become the world champion. I think he's
pretty sad, man.
Yeah,
you know, like what I mean by the sad is the you know how it all turned out.
Yeah, know? It's crazy when you're like all that the business side of it, right?
Yeah,
you know.
Oh, mate, like he earned over $20 million. That fella, you know. I don't know what he's got now, but like, man, like he should be living a good life. Yeah, you know, and he seems pretty happy now.
Yeah,
you know, with Helen.
Yes.
You know, he's in Samoa now, eh?
Yes.
Yep, he's there full time. Yeah. I've heard he's been back a couple of times, but yeah, man, he's a rock star. He shouldn't have to do anything, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's,
like, he's a fucking rock star.
Yeah, I always think that when you know, you see one live in one way.
Yeah.
And the guy who did all the work. Is not living to that.
100%. Yeah, man. Like fucking no, that shouldn't be. That shouldn't be, man.
But he's again, like, you know, just getting the opportunity to meet him. Yeah. You know, and it's funny because I did a speech and Helen was in the audience. Yeah. And I said, hands up who knew me as a boxer. I thought, keep your hands up if you didn't like me, Helen said. And but we had a good catch up after. She goes, I'm so glad that I got to hear why you were doing it. You know? And she was she was working for Mercury Energy at the time and doing a lot of community stuff. So it was pretty cool.
She's a smart lady.
And just getting to meet him like a legend. You know,
so mate,
growing up.
I still get like, you know, I'm fanboy with him when I want to, you know, even though I fought him and but he is the man, bro.
It's one of those like he's one of those people when he walks in the room, you're like, there's that aura, and you're like, wow, you know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, no, definitely. You know, I get that from him. You know, like definitely. You know, because
What was it, bro? Was that one of your lowest points to have to come back from? After that,
yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. At the time, it wasn't so. Yeah, it was, man, and still, it's eased up a little bit now on social. But even till up until, last year, you know, I still would get a lot of his supporters, you know, criticising me, and you know, because I do
still
a lot.
Now,
still get a lot of
that hate.
All my tips that I put up. They go, fucking, what do you know, you fucking clown? You got knocked out by Tua. I think, I did. Fucking most people did too. Yeah, you know, but man, that was a low point. You know, but you know, you just find your way. You just work it out, and fucking away you go. What can you do?
Yeah.
You
How did you come back from it?
Yeah.
How have you come back from any adversity?
I've always been confident. You know, I'm always, I suppose with the Tua loss, you know, I knew what I was capable of doing. And when you get hit from that fella, man, like, shit, man. Like, when I got caught from him with that left hook, I didn't know what had happened. I didn't know how I reacted because I wanted to watch the replay. And I think, oh, fuck, that's all I did, you know? You know, I just went onto the ropes and he just threw those barrage of punches. And I didn't know because I don't remember. I don't remember coming out for the second round.
Really?
So I don't remember coming out for the second round. I don't even remember nothing. Not until I watched the replay. I think, oh, fucking hell, I actually made the second round. You know, so it was... The body had taken some bloody punishments.
Yeah.
But I knew I was better than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and then I fought John Hopewadi, and that was just a bit of a Mickey Mouse thing. And then I made my comeback. And my goal was always, you know, because like I said, my head's strong, man.
Yeah.
So my goal was always fight for a world title. And losing to David Tua, oh shit, man, I'm still want to fight for a world title.
Yeah.
I didn't get a shot at heavyweight, but it was an opportunity at cruiserweight. That's why I decided to drop the weight.
Yep.
And battled with Danny Green, you know, I finally got my shot at the world title. So, you know, it's the confidence, you know what I mean? Having that confidence, you know what I'm saying about confidence. Everyone has, you know, if you don't have confidence in whatever you do, it's going to be a hard road for you, you know? You got to be a little bit delusional too, you know, which I'm good at. But like, I was confident in getting a shot at a world title, you know, and confident in winning it, but I didn't win it. And then just pull pin when it was time to pull pin and move on with the rest of my life, you know.
Yeah. When did you know it was time to pull the pin?
Yeah, and sometimes hindsight, Sometimes hindsight, I think, I should have probably after, because I really struggled after the Danny Green fight, you know.
Yeah.
So when you say, how did you come back from adversity, or I really struggled after the Danny Green fight, you know, with depression, you know, after that fight. And I wasn't depressed because I lost. I don't know. I think probably just, you know, I lost 14 kilos for that fight, and then my head sort of changed. I become more emotional after the fight.
Yeah.
You know, I don't cry, and I was crying in the change room, you know, on my dad's shoulder.
Yeah.
You know, it was fucking. I don't cry, bro. I don't cry. But since then, I don't know, something maybe just changed in my head. More emotional now in a good way. Yeah. But I struggled to get out of bed for 6 months after the Danny Green fight. You know, just my head had changed. Yeah. You know, so I went and seen a neuropsychologist, a speech therapist, and then I was thinking, maybe I should pull pin, but I was still hungry to. I'm not finishing on that, man. Yeah. I want to retire on a victory. You know, so then from there, I think I fought Brian Minto. And then I had a torment in my meniscus. Didn't drain that. I'm not into making excuses, but like I wasn't. But I was thinking, Brian, I'll still be there, fella. Yeah. You know, still be there, fella. Fucking hell, I was wrong. Yeah. You know. So then I've lost 2 fights. You know, I'm thinking I've never lost 3 fights in a row. I'm gonna have one more fight against a good fighter, and that be Carly Meehan. And if I lose to him, I'm gonna retire. I'll retire. And I'd sparred fucking hundreds of rounds with Carly. So I knew what I was in for, but I'm thinking, I'll get him. Yep. I'll get him, you know, the old head. Yeah. I'll get him. Yeah. I'll get him, you know. But he got me. Lost on points, and that was a good time to let it go, man. Yeah. You know.
Being in that darkness, bro, and it gets like, you know, going through depression. It never really goes, eh? You sort of just get better at dealing with it. It's always there, just ready to pop up. Yeah. How did you get through that? I mean, 6 months of not wanting to get out of bed. How did you get through it?
Yeah. I didn't get out of bed sometimes, you know. And I went and seen the neuropsychologist, and he said, you're depressed. I said, I'm not depressed, you know. And then it sort of changed and stuff, and then I had bad thoughts, you know, thinking, oh, shit, I need to do something. And then I tried medication, and then that didn't work. And then
bad thoughts like not wanting to be here.
Yeah. So quite a lot. But one thing, you know what, bro? And that's what you're doing. Yeah. Active. Keep moving. Because I was in that competitive space for 17 years, you know, where I was always driving towards or training towards an end goal. And that end goal will be that fight. And then it moves on to the next goal, and then the next goal, and that goal. And then when I retired, I didn't have any goals, you know. So I partied too much, and I was doing the wrong things. And then I haven't had a different business is good, but like it's different sort of strive.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I love about the High Rocks, where, man, you got a date. You know, whether it's a date for in-house comp or a date for Australia, which I'm going over there, and like I'm not winning no money or nothing, but it's just good for my head.
Yeah.
You know.
Exercise, say it all the time. Exercise saved my life.
So what you promote every day, you know, so people that are listening and watching, fucking just get going, get moving, and staying consistent.
You know, we work with people that are, you know, thinking of suicide every day.
Yeah.
Every day it's on their mind. They think about it.
Yeah.
What would your advice be to them? People like that.
You know, I've had days thinking like that too, but let's just keep him moving. And training, another tip would be train with a mate.
Yeah.
Train with a mate.
Yeah.
Train with a mate. Because if you're training by yourself, you can let yourself down, but you won't let your mate down.
Yeah.
You know? And you can talk to your mate when you get there. Oh, I'm not feeling that good today. And well, I've got a good mate who I train with, and we talk all stuff, business and everything, emotions, and, you know, but we train, we turn up. You know, some days I want to let him down, but I don't, you know, and he never lets me down, so I'm not going to let him down.
For us, that's why I love what we do with our group fitness and BBMs. Like, you know, for me, like, you know, because I don't drink and all that anymore, but my going to the pub, because, you know, I'm not a good drinker. That's why I am not a good drinker.
Yeah.
But so, you know, I stopped, but my going to the pub is training with my mates.
Yeah.
And going having a protein shake after, or going having a feed after. That's the social. But, you know, and talking.
Yes.
You know, like, you know, you talked before about, you know, crying in the sheds after on your dad's shoulder, and that you've never cried, that you don't cry, you know. But how important do you think it is, like, you know, to talk about how you're feeling to your friends, and you know, to show emotion?
Yeah.
A lot of us say we just sweep it under the carpet.
Sweep it under the carpet. Yeah. Definitely talk, you know, and I do a lot too. Sometimes I say too much, but like, you know, I've gone from being a stone cold, like say nothing farm boy, you know, don't show weakness.
Yeah.
Don't show weakness, all that stuff. Then you go through the boxing stuff, and it worked with me with the boxing, because you don't show weakness and with all that sort of stuff. And then you're moving into where I am now, and like, I'm not afraid of talking about anything. You know, I used to be scared because in my head, I was the dumbest kid at school. Couldn't read or write, dyslexic, ADHD. Thought I was the dumbest kid in the school, and I probably, you know. But then now, over the years of doing everything, and I don't mind giving anything a crack, and I'm happy to talk. It took me years for me to say to people that, I didn't go to school. You know, I left school at 13 and dyslexic, ADHD, couldn't read or write. I used to think it was frowned upon. You know, thinking, you are dumb. You are dumb. But it was all in my head.
Yeah.
You know, it was all in my head, telling myself I'm dumb. I don't know if people thought I was dumb or thought that, Shane's dumb, you know, but I was telling myself I'm dumb. So your mind is like your most powerful tool, you know, whether you're going out there to fight Mike Tyson or David Tua and you're not intimidated by that. Well, that's one thing, you know, but then saying to yourself, I'm going to lose. Oh, no, I'm going to lose. Big chance you're going to fucking lose. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or think, no, I'm not going to lose. You know, you've ticked all the boxes, and are you dumb? No, I'm not dumb. You know, fucking I've got 5 businesses, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well.
Hey, you know,
well.
so it's just,
you show it's possible. You go through all that, but you know, look what you've achieved.
Yeah, thanks, bro. But I think having a goal, man, is important. Then you know what you're striving towards.
Yeah.
You know, and anything is possible, man. You know, I bought a small business this week. You know, cabin business. I think, I want to take that to like level it up. You know, utilizing the people around me. You know, I've always rung you up asking you for advice, because I do respect your opinion. Fucking, I was saying to the bro when I come in, I go, fucking, they talking about you. I go, fuck, he's a smart dude, man. You know what I mean? So I value that, and I think because you'll have something good to say, you know. So it's about having connections, right people around you to ask for advice. You don't have to be the best reader. I'm not the best reader. I'm writing a book at the moment. They've sent me a whole list of chapters to read. I'm thinking, I can't think of anything worse. But then they go,
get Casey to read it, bro. I wrote a book, didn't proofread it.
And it was the #1 seller.
It got up there. It was a real bloody motivating book, that one. I only read the parts that could get me in trouble and made sure those ones were.
Fuck yeah, bro.
What's the next goal, bro, on the horizon? What's the next big thing?
I'm really big on business.
Yeah. I'm
still learning, still finding my way. I love the sort of passive income business.
Yeah.
You know, passive income business. Because I'm 47. I'll give it a good nudge for the next sort of 5 years, and I want to be set up. I've got a few investment properties. And, but you know, I'm always going to be a worker. You know, same for you, man. I grew up working.
Yeah.
You know, so I'll go down working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I work all the time, you know, but I suppose I look for freedom. So freedom to me, bro, is to take a day off whenever I want, to go on holiday whenever I want. You know, I don't blow money, you know. So so freedom for me would be to take a day off whenever I want and go on holiday whenever I want.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's what people say, what's rich?
Yeah.
And to me, that's
Yeah.
wealth.
Yes.
When you can do that.
Yeah. So I've been working towards that over the last sort of 5 years, you know.
Yeah.
And again, as long as you got a goal and you can work towards it.
Yeah.
And what did you just say before about wealth or?
What is rich?
What is rich? Yes. What is rich? You know, is it the money you got in the bank or is it the freedom that you have?
Yeah. To me,
That's got to be the freedom.
That's rich when you have the freedom.
Yeah.
To do what you want.
Yeah.
And to spend that real quality time with your family.
Yes.
And man, if you can do that as well as help others, man, that's just next level.
Oh,
Like,
magic.
Nothing better.
Magic. Yeah.
You know? I asked Kevin Mealamu, you know, what's your dream? And he said, you know, to be a goal, just to be sitting under a tree with all my family and doing it every day.
Yeah.
You know, that's life, man.
That's him, bro. That's him. You know, that's something that he'd say. He's a fucking genuine human.
What would you say to, you know, to cause this is such the audience and the reach of this podcast is growing and growing and growing. What would you say to you know, to a young kid like yourself in a little town, and not thinking that there's anything beyond it?
Yeah.
You know, what would you say to that kid maybe who's dyslexic?
Like for me, I can only talk about when I was young. Yeah, I always had a goal.
Yeah.
You know, always having a goal, and then you still got to work hard.
Yeah.
Then nothing comes for free. Nothing's easy. You know, I want to be a shepherd, you know, and all the things that I do, I want to be the best at it. It's debatable whether I'm the best at it, bro. Like, so to be a shepherd, you got to have sheepdogs and you got to have horses, and you got to know how to work the stock, and you know, to be good how to ride a horse, you know how to. But then within that is a lot of hard work. You know, you might have to crutch 1,000 sheep every day, or you might have to move stock through the blizzard, you know, and the cold and wind. But if you love what you do, you know, it's not work.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? In some ways, you know, and I wasn't even thinking about money back then, but like, and then I still same sort of thoughts now. But like, for someone willing, but they got to work. You have to be willing to work. Nothing comes for free, you know. So have a goal and then do whatever it takes to achieve that goal.
100%.
And like, and sometimes you don't know where you're going to end up. I thought I'd be a farmer, a shepherd, all the way through right to the end. I never thought I'd do anything else.
Yeah.
Then a turning point, and then I go to England, and then all of a sudden a turning point there, I'm watching boxing. Oh, I might give that sport a go. And then I can now fast forward like 20 years, I'm here sitting to you, but talking about my life.
Yeah.
You know, because so to any kids out there think they're struggling or think they're dumb at school and all that sort of stuff, hey, that was me, man.
Yeah.
So you can do some great things.
100%. It's possible.
Anything's possible,
Yeah.
man.
So, brother, one question we always ask everyone, and it's something that's big for us, is, you know, I always ask, what's your why? For me, my why at the start was getting my children back.
Yeah.
The thought of being at the airport and having them embrace me.
Yeah.
You know, that's what got me through all the hate, all the adversity, all the getting up early and going and training, stop eating rubbish, all these things.
Yeah.
Now my why is being an example to them and all of people that look up to us.
Yeah.
You know, so what's your why?
Yeah, man. Probably for me, making sure my kids can see that, you know, you got to work hard for the things that you want, whatever those things that you want, you got to work hard for them, you know. So I want to be a good role model for them. You know, I'm very proud of my fitness and staying healthy, and you know, I drink beers, man. Love the old beers, but like I've pulled back a lot on that, you know, just because, you know, you slow down a few days later or whatever it may be. But like, just to see that, hey man, Dad set us up, and but you still got to work. Yeah, you still got to work, man. Like nothing comes for free.
Yeah. I think, like you said, you know, being that example and just creating a better future for the, you know, your future generations. Yeah. But you've laid down that platform. If you want it, you still got to work for it. Yeah. I'm gonna give you the opportunities. You still got to work for it. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on, bro.
Awesome, bro.
Man, it's a privilege, bro. It's a privilege to have you and sit here and have this conversation.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it, bro.
Awesome. If you made it this far, thank you so much for the support. It really does mean so much to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and comment on our videos, and share this out. These stories are so inspiring and they need to be heard by everyone. Thank you so much, team.